We all know the Super Nintendo is home of some fantastic beat-em ups. From Turtles in Time to Final Fight 3, there is no shortage of great games for us to play and collect. The Super Nintendo was the home of around 55 beat-em ups, and while we had some stellar games, some that even beat their arcade counterparts, we had a lot of games that were less than that. Hello and welcome my friends to The Flying Kick. I am Savino, and today we will take a look at 5 Super Nintendo beat-em ups that you should keep your distance from. The games will be presented in order of release, but I will make very clear which ones are the worst. So hold your breath because here come some stinkers. When someone mentions to you the Alien vs Predator beat-em up, your first thought is probably something like this. But for about a year, all we could have in mind when someone brought the subject up was this. Developed by Jorudan and published by Activision in 1993, the same year as games like Batman Returns and Final Fight 2 to give you some context, Alien vs Predator is easily one of the worst beat-em ups on the console and probably the biggest waste of an IP on this list, if not ever. I guess the only thing worth a compliment here is the story. It tells the tale of workers uncovering a xenomorph egg during an excavation on the planet Vega 4. This led to the inevitable demise of the base with facehuggers hugging faces and all that good stuff. The colonists were able to send an SOS signal before going silent, which was intercepted by a Predator ship that was going to that exact planet to hunt humans. Now, they had a bigger prey to deal with. Honestly, the story here is way better than it has any right to be, and it's even better than Capcom's, but as soon as you finish watching the nicely made cutscenes, reality strikes. AVP is a terrible game. Not only does this game look extremely poor, even for 1993, but it also plays like it looks. Here you have a main attack, a slide attack, a shoulder cannon, which is pretty useful, a special, and your jump. While this could be enough for some good gameplay, here the execution is terrible. Your main attack has a very short range and it's pretty ineffective against most enemies. Not that you can't take enough health from them with each attack, but because you have to get out of their way every time you knock them down. Every time an enemy gets up, they will jump and attack you, giving you almost no time to react. So be prepared to hit your enemies and get out of their way immediately every single time. You can use your shoulder cannon, but be ready to be stuck in the same place, hitting X every second to prevent the enemies from getting too close to you with each jump. AVP is also extremely slow, and while the game isn't that big, you take a long time beating and getting out of the way of your enemies. This becomes so repetitive that you feel like you're not progressing a single inch. And of course, the fact that you find only 2 types of enemies in the whole game doesn't help to alleviate this feeling of sameness. I mean, until you meet the bosses, who are easily the most creative part of this game. They are probably the best part in this game, but that's only visually. Mechanically, they are extremely annoying and cheap. There are also some power-ups like the invisibility cloak and a couple of weapons that the enemies drop from time to time like the spear or the disc, but they are basically the same thing as your shoulder cannon, but a bit faster to shoot. Finally, you have your special attack, which is perfect to drain your health and make you weaker because this attack is unable to kill even the weakest of the enemies. While this is not the worst beat-em up on the system, or even on this list, this is one that you should keep your distance from. Or not, I mean, I'm not your boss or anything, but if you really need to play this one, do it while a facehugger is covering your face. If you were alive in the 90s, and if you're on this channel, chances are you were, you know how much of a big thing action moves were back then. Different from nowadays, where multiple superheroes team up to defeat the bad guy, back then, all you needed was a single, muscular, oily dude. All the strength and manhood would surely be translated to games with actors like Stallone and Arnold starring on the cover of a few. Enters Cliffhanger, a 1993 movie about climbing starring Sylvester Stallone and a ton of climbing mistakes. I'm not sure why this movie was picked for a game, and honestly, I don't think Malibu Entertainment, the developer, was either. The story here is the same as the movie, with Stallone being tricked by a group of terrorists lost in the mountains after their plane with lots of stolen money crash landed. The game itself, well, it's a mess. Starting with the visuals, this is quite possibly one of the saddest games I ever seen. The characters look boring as heck, and you don't have much variety here. You have only a handful of enemies who will attack you in the same way over and over again. They are a bunch of forgettable thugs, and their small sprites don't help them to stand out. Stallone himself is also pretty boring to look at, with his dark gray trousers and white shirt, which basically makes him disappear amidst the snowing mountain, which is all you will get here for backgrounds. Oh, and some boring rocky walls too that look like more a brick wall than a natural formation. The combat, as expected, is terrible. You have a punch, an extremely slow kick, a jump, and a completely useless block. You can also run and attack with your punch, and you also have a desperation move by pressing both attacks at the same time that will drain a bit of your health. While this can be a lot of moves, like the previous game, the execution falls short. Your attacks feel light and without any impact, that is, if you can hit your enemies, because the hurt boxes here are all over the place. To add a bit of salt to the injury, every time you knock your enemies down, they will get up invincible for a while, making the whole thing a chore, where you hit your enemies, get back, wait until they stop blinking, and attack. Like Alien vs Predator, this is another game where hitting your enemies is the most annoying part of the game. And for a beaten up, I don't think this holds well. Cliffhanger obviously has some climbing and mountain shenanigans for you to take part in, and like the rest of the game, they are boring as you imagine. In some moments, you will have to climb a wall to reach the top of a mountain, and enemies and hazards will be waiting for you there. It's a slow and methodical climb where you have to patiently wait for the enemies to attack to make your move. Or you can say screw it and go as fast as you can, eating bullets as you go. There are some platforming moments here, and honestly this is probably the best part of the game since the jump is easy to control. I mean, I'm not saying they are anything good, but everything here is so bad that mediocre moments can feel fantastic. Games based on movies were never that great, but Cliffhanger lowered this bar even further. If you're looking for some mountain climbing excitement, it's better to jump off a cliff than to play this game.
Hey yo, Bebe's kids.
Released in 1994, which is unbelievable. Bebe's Kids is easily the worst beaten up on the Super Nintendo. No, seriously, what the heck is this game? I luckily never crossed with this one back in the day, or if I did, I don't remember it, but I played this one when emulation was starting to become a thing and I couldn't believe my eyes. Bebe's Kids is based on a adult animation from 1992, which flopped hard at the movies when it was released. Why a failed movie was picked as the base for a beaten up is beyond me. Probably it was in the contract or something. Developed by Radical Entertainment, which belongs to Microsoft these days, Bebe's Kids is a masterclass in how not to make make a beat'em up, starting with the horrible graphics, which honestly look like something from the NES, to the annoying music that is extremely short and repetitive, and finally the extremely boring combat. In Bebe's Kids, you have a punch, a kick, and a jump, and they are all ineffective. I'm not sure what was passing on the developer's head, but if you try to kill an enemy, any enemy, with your punches and kicks, you will lose. Your characters, both of them, are pathetically weak, and it can easily take 15 to 20 hits to kill a single bad guy. Seriously, take a look at this. And sure, of course, the hurt boxes are all wonky, so you can do this. But yeah, as I said, this won't take you far, because the game has a timer, and there's not enough time to beat your enemies here. To defeat your enemies in a timely fashion, you need to hold L or R, and only then attack them. By doing this, you can defeat your enemy with only 3 or 4 hits like in any normal game. Now I have to ask, why? Why make an ineffective attack that only trick you and lead you to your doom? What's the point of using 2 buttons for an attack that obviously should have been only 1? Good heavens, this game pisses me off. And that's not it, your enemies are also incredibly stupid. They only attack you at random, while most of the time they keep just walking from one side to another looking dumb. Sometimes they will approach you and attack, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. And yes, it's not only the boring combat, the slow pace, and the repetitive enemies that make this game bad. You also have the minigames or special levels or whatever you wanna call them. First, you have this glass shop, where you have to break things that a baby is dropping. You have to destroy 10 of them while the shopkeeper tries to save his good from the havoc these children are creating. I am the bad guy here? I honestly don't get the point here. Since you have to break stuff, why simply don't let the baby drop them? What's the point of breaking them in the air? And of course there's a timer, and the baby only drops the objects when he wants. Sometimes you can spend long moments without him dropping a single cup. And there's also the haunted house, which is the farthest I could get in this game. I never passed beyond this part because I only played this game twice, once back in the early 2000s and now, and I refuse to spend any second more with this game. Come on, this game is terrible, I'm done with this one, I can't just done. Released in 1994 based on a cartoon show of the same name, The Tick is another proof that established IPs are not always suited to become beat'em ups. Actually, this whole list is proof of that. Developed by Software Creations, The Tick is not as bad as the other titles here with stupid climbing mechanics or baby throwing glass bottles, but man, this game is extremely boring. Like many others in this list, the game is single player only. I'm not sure this game has a story, there is no intro, and if you let the game play by itself, it will only show a parade of characters crossing the screen. And honestly, I don't think a story would help anything here. The game starts with you on top of a truck, and for some reason I find this part extremely disorienting. I'm not sure if it's the background moving too fast, but you probably will take a few seconds to adjust yourself when first starting this one. It's another feeling that I'm not sure a video can reproduce. Visually, like all previous games in this list, The Tick is extremely boring and ugly. Everything, every level is made out of shades of blues and grays with muted colors everywhere, and not only are the colors bad, there's a consistent lack of detail in everything. I mean, the tick doesn't have too much detail to begin with, but they could have made up for it with interesting enemies and backgrounds, but that was not the case. Your enemies, which come in a small variety, are just boring pellet swaps with some different weapons that they lose as soon as you hit them. They aren't very resilient, but you can be sure you will be stuck on one screen for a long time because they never stop coming. The Tick is a huge game. Huge! I don't know how many levels this game has, I never beat it, but after more than 3 hours playing and not finish it, I finally quit. I mean, I have hundreds of hours in some beaten ups, but here, with this combat and enemies, 3 hours felt like 3 years. Talking about the combat here, you have a kick, a punch, a jump, and your special in the form of this guy that swoops by and kill all enemies on the screen, and your attacks couldn't be more boring. Your punches are just a small sequence of the same move, and you will finish it with a flick that throws your enemies away. Your kick is basically the same thing, and you can't mix your attacks or anything like that. Your best bet here to avoid attacks is to use your flying kick forever, since your enemies have no defense against it. It is curious to see so many games using two types of attack and achieving way less than what Final Fight did with only one half a decade before. It shows how interesting and varied enemies are necessary in games like this. The Tick is another game for you to avoid. Boring, annoying, lifeless, the complete opposite of what you would expect from a cartoon show. Probably the least terrible game in this list, Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety was released in 1995 and developed by Software Creations, the same team behind The Tick. But before you start to feel bad about what's coming, this game is a huge improvement over The Tick. Not that this improvement was enough, but still. The story here is pretty basic, but good enough for the game. It tells the story of a company called the Life Foundation, which captured Venom and took 5 spawns from him. These spawns were modified and almost killed Venom, who escaped and contacted Spider-Man to help him destroy these creatures. I mean, not great, but good enough for a beat'em up. Visually, Separation Anxiety is a mixed bag. Spider and Venom look good, the animations are cool, and despite both having the same attacks, they look unique and are pretty interesting. Your enemies are also colorful, although coming in a short variety. What I really dislike here are the backgrounds. Like the Tick, they are dark, grainy, and sometimes it feels like they rendered textures in some 3D software and then put them in the game, creating a visual dissonance that does not help at all. The combat is, to my surprise, really versatile. You have here a punch, a jump, a web swing button, and a web button that can be used to grab enemies, trap them in your web, or make a shield to protect yourself. The same applies to Venom, but with goo instead of web. You can also run and shoulder bash your enemies, which honestly is one of your best attacks. Oh yeah, and you can climb walls too. I mean, it serves nothing combat-wise, but you can find some health items or extra lives, so there's that. While on paper everything here sounds pretty good, the execution falls pretty short. Enemies are extremely fast and they can overrun you. Beating them is not nearly as satisfying as it could have been. It feels like your enemies are made out of jello, being soft and squishy when you beat them. And more than that, take a look at them. Do you think these street punks can really hurt Spider or Venom? Most of the enemies you will find in this game are like these regular thugs that would be eaten by Venom in an instant. The biggest problem with Separation Anxiety, aside from the boring backgrounds and the flailing enemies, is that this game is a sequel to a much better game, Maximum Carnage. Okay, Maximum Carnage is not fantastic, but when compared to this game, man, that game is miles ahead. To be honest, when you compare the both games, it looks like Separation Anxiety is just a reskin of the first game, but a worse one. With two players, the game can be fun for a while, but since this game has about 12 levels and not short ones, I don't think the fun will last too long. But at least you can suffer with a friend, which is better than alone. And that's it for the video, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video because I will be honest, I didn't. Damn, these games are bad. If you reached this far in the video, it's clear that you enjoy the content, so why not leave a like and subscribe for more beaten up things in your life. I will be back next week with another list, this time with some great Mega Drive games, but until then, I hope you all have an awesome week, and remember, keep beaten up.